This week on Vallo Vision News, UM is hosting their second COVID vaccine clinic this week. Hear where it's located and times it's open. And SGA's annual big event looked a little different this year. Hear how it turned out during the pandemic. Plus, Vallo is holding an in-person graduation like no other. What students think about a combined graduation. Vallo Vision News starts right now. Hello and welcome to Vallo Vision News. I'm Carly Lloyd. Thanks so much for joining us. The state of Alabama is no longer under a mask ordinance. The state mandate was lifted last Friday at 5 p.m., but Governor Kay Ivey encourages everyone to still social distance and still wear masks for their own safety. University officials have decided the mask policy at UM will remain for the rest of the semester. Officials say they want to be cautious as variants continue to be found. As of April 9th, UM has reported 2 positive COVID cases among students. These students were asymptomatic and tested randomly. There are also no active employee cases. 274 students have reported positive for COVID since the pandemic began. Over 2 million Alabamians have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. More than 793,000 people have completed the vaccine series. Over 3 million doses have been delivered throughout the state. Alabama still remains last in the country for ranks for their distribution rate. UM will be hosting a COVID vaccination clinic on campus this Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Student Activity Center. There are 200 doses still available. Scheduling an appointment is first come, first served. For more information about the vaccine clinic, contact the Office of Enrollment and Student Affairs / Dean of Students at deanofstudents@montevallo.edu. Young adults are experiencing more COVID hospitalizations than previous months. Many experts say it's likely due to new variants. John Loring reports.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says COVID-19 related deaths in the U.S. are dropping, but confirmed cases and hospitalizations are on the rise. That includes people in the 18 to 25 age group.
We are seeing these increases in younger adults, most of whom have not yet been vaccinated.
Before the end of the month, all 50 states are expected to make COVID-19 shots available to everyone at least 16 years old.
I'm hopeful that we can avert, not see this fourth surge, but we will see hotspots as we're seeing throughout the nation.
Pfizer is asking the Food and Drug Administration to expand the use of its vaccine for children between 12 to 15 years old.
They've shown that in these 4,000 or so individuals, 12 to 15, that the vaccine is safe. There were no adverse safety signals, and they were really effective. Actually, they are shown to be 100% effective thus far in the trial.
If the FDA approves the emergency use authorization, it would be the only one authorized for children that young.
First of all, we need them to get the benefit of the vaccine, but also it will help us to reach herd immunity a lot faster if we don't just have to rely on adults all to be vaccinated.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A new COVID-19 model from the University of Washington Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation predicts more than 618,000 deaths in the U.S. by August 1st. But that number falls to just over 604,000 if at least 95% of the population wears facial coverings. Registration for summer and fall 2021 classes began today. Students must meet with their advisors before registering. Registration opened for current grad students today. Seniors, honors, disability services, and trio students Wednesday, April 14th. Juniors and athletes, April 16th. Sophomores, Tuesday, April 20th, and freshmen, Thursday, April 22nd. For more information, visit your UM banner account. UM officials announced last month the plans to hold in-person commencement this semester for 3 graduating classes. but not everyone feels the same about the decision.
The University of Montevallo is holding an in-person graduation for the spring 2021 graduates. Not only that, UM is holding an in-person commencement for the spring 2020 and the fall 2020 classes as well. Due to COVID-19, they were unable to have an in-person ceremony. Some graduating students like the idea of the already graduated classes getting to come back and walk at graduation.
Personally, I really like that Montevallo is combining the spring and fall 2020 commencement with the spring 2021 commencement, because I feel like it honors all of us graduates, because I know for the spring and the fall they didn't get to have that opportunity. And unlike some universities who are still canceling commencements, Montevallo is going out of their way to make sure that we still get to have that in person.
While some other students do not like the idea.
It is a little upsetting. I, of course, want the past two classes to be able to have an in-person graduation. I think they deserve that. However, I don't think it's fair for the university to take away from mine. It seems like I'll have to limit how many guests I can bring so that other graduates can come, while I think it would be smarter to space out the graduation.
Graduation is scheduled for Saturday, May 8th, starting at 9 a.m. on the lawn at Flower Hill.
Everyone attending graduation is required to wear a mask and stay as social distance as possible. A limited number of guests will be allowed for each graduate as well. SGA will be holding a movie night on Flower Hill Lawn on Tuesday, April 13th at 8 p.m. Students are encouraged to bring a blanket or lawn chair to Flower Hill Lawn. SGA will be showing the movie Soul. Students are being asked to wear a mask and social distance during the movie. The University of Montevallo's Student Government Association had their annual big event last weekend. VVN's Ryan McGarty has the story.
SGA's annual big event took place over the weekend. While the event usually includes going out into the community, it looked a little different this year. This year, the event took place on campus, where donations were accepted for Shelby Emergency Assistance and the UM Food Pantry. The event took place right here at Farmer Hall on Saturday, April 10th.
This year, just to keep students and also the community safe, we have moved it to the least amount of in-person contact as possible. So this year is a lot based on donation drives.
There were boxes set up on the farmer stage where students could donate items. Items accepted included non-perishable food items as well as paper products and canned goods. Donations could be made from 9 a.m. until around noon on Saturday. The event was also live streamed on the SGA Instagram account. Usually students are going out into the community to these people's houses to help them with whatever they may need. It could be like raking up leaves or maybe even cutting grass, whatever they really need. But just due to COVID, just trying to keep everybody safe, both students and in the community. SGA representatives said even though there are a number of students who are completely virtual this semester, they were still expecting the same amount of turnout as usual. Reporting for Vallo Vision News, I'm Ryan McGarty.
Students in Indiana Smith's Social Entrepreneurship and Sustainability class are hosting a 5K and 1 mile color run this Saturday. The Warrior Challenge will take place April 17th from 8 a.m. until 10. The run will start at the disc golf course near the Student Activity Center. Spectators will not be allowed for social distancing. The event benefits the Arc of Shelby County. Learn more about the event on their website, montevallo.edu/warrior-challenge. A Montevallo tradition will be lighting up the night this week. Vallo Cycle Glow Ride is scheduled for Thursday, April 15th at 6 p.m. Participants will ride around town off main roads at night with their bikes lit up. All rides start and end at University of Montevallo on Main. Riders of all skill levels are welcome. Another ride will be held May 20th. To learn more, email vallocycle@gmail.com. Today begins Student Employee Appreciation Week. Chartwell's Falcon Foods hosted a cake cutting event today for student workers. Supervisors of student employees are encouraged to recognize their student workers' contributions in the workplace throughout the week. Tariana Richardson has our story.
Anna Irving Dining Hall is open 7 days a week. Each day comprises of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All you need is a swipe to enter and you'll be given a plate or a to-go box. Students aren't usually recognized, but today is Student Employee Appreciation Day. Bella Ratliff shares her experience on what it is like being a student employee.
Just working here, it's brought me a lot closer to campus because I'm a commuter, even though I'm pretty close. I live pretty close, but I don't dorm, and so with everything being online with COVID, I haven't really been around the student life at all. So when I got this job, I started to be on campus a lot more, and it felt really good just to be like, made me feel like I was a college student again, you know?
She talks about the importance of recognition for employees.
I think that it is important to appreciate the employees. I would say that the other ladies I work with would probably be more deserving of a cake than me. I haven't been here very long and they all work very hard. I'm still getting the hang of things and I'm still fairly new, but I think this is a great job and that a lot more students should work here.
Falcon Foods has meal plans, catering services, and wellness and sustainability options for students. Despite the task, the staff is working diligently to make sure no person goes hungry and every staff member is valued. Their motto is Eat Right, Take Flight. I'm Tariana Richardson, Vallo Vision News.
The Student Employee of the Year will be announced later this week on Thursday. The Montevallo City Council has created new rules for owning pets in the city. The council passed an ordinance requiring that all outdoor dogs be properly housed. This means owners must provide some kind of outdoor shelter for their dog if it does not sleep indoors. People who violate the ordinance can face fines. The ordinance additionally outlined which types of outdoor leashes a pet could be kept on. The council anonymously passed the ordinance. UM's volleyball team killed it this season, literally. The team went undefeated all season with a record of 10-0. They ended their season as runner-up at the GSC Championship. But there is one player who has killed it all 4 seasons. Senior Evelina Turan reached her 1,000th career kill this season. Turan led the GSC in kills and points throughout the spring season. Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. Still ahead on Vallo Vision News. As the Derek Chauvin trial continues, another protest began after a deadly officer-involved shooting in Minneapolis. Learn how police and protesters are reacting. Plus, country music star and American Idol judge Luke Bryan tested positive for coronavirus. Who will take his spot as a guest judge on the show? And old school action figures are transforming into new age tech. Learn more when we come back. Police say a deadly officer-involved shooting that sparked protest in Minnesota was an accident. They have released body cam video. And we want to warn you, some viewers may find this video disturbing. This video shows the shooting of Dante Wright Sunday in the Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Park. The 20-year-old was shot during a traffic stop that afternoon and died. The video shows officers trying to arrest Wright for a warrant. They struggle as Wright tries to get back into the vehicle. You can hear one of the officers yell that she is going to taser him, but instead she shoots him.
As I watch the video and listen to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. This appears to me, from what I've viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge.
The police chief says the officer who fired her weapon was a, quote, very senior officer. She is on administrative leave as the department investigates. The shooting of Wright sparked protest in Brooklyn Center Sunday night. More than 500 members of the Minnesota National Guard have been activated in response to the unrest. This comes amid already high tensions as the third week begins in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Nadia Romero is in Minneapolis.
Protests erupting in a Minneapolis suburb overnight.
We saw rocks and other objects thrown at the police department. There were reports of shots fired in the area of the police department.
After 20-year-old Dante Wright was killed following a traffic stop, officers say they tried to arrest him on outstanding warrants when he got back into his car and fled. Brooklyn Center police opened fire and struck Wright, who died on the scene.
He said they pulled him over because he had air fresheners hanging from the rearview mirror. A minute later, I called and his girlfriend answered, which was the passenger in the car, and said that he'd been shot.
This as witness testimony in the Derek Chauvin murder trial continues for a third week.
This is a case that evokes a lot of emotion.
As the prosecution calls another medical expert to testify on the cause of George Floyd's death.
I'm here as an expert cardiology specialist to provide my opinion as to how Mr. George Floyd died.
The defense says Floyd's death is the result of heart disease and drug use, but medical experts called so far disagree.
George Floyd died from a cardiopulmonary arrest. It was caused by low oxygen levels, and those low oxygen levels were induced by the prone restraint and positional asphyxiation that he was subjected to.
A massive power outage has hit the Caribbean island of St. Vincent following back-to-back volcanic explosions on Friday. For days, huge amounts of ash have been falling on the island, clouding the sky and posing some several health risks to residents there. St. Vincent's Prime Minister has said it could take 4 months for life to return to normal on the island. American Idol judge and country music star Luke Bryan will miss the first live installment of the show after testing positive for coronavirus. The singer made the announcement on Monday on social media. The network said former American Idol judge Paula Abdul will fill in as a guest judge along with judges Lionel Richie and Katy Perry. Every year, nearly 800,000 Americans suffer from stroke is the leading cause of serious long-term disabilities in the U.S. Every year, nearly 800,000 Americans suffer a stroke, and stroke is the leading cause of serious long-term disabilities in the U.S. But new research is offering some hope. Mandy Geither has more.
1 in 3 stroke victims never call 911, according to the CDC, delaying critical care.
By the time that they get treated, potentially there's been already significant damage to the brain tissue because of the lack of blood supply.
That damage can cause a number of problems, including paralysis, speech impairment, and loss of motor function.
Right now, the current standard of treatment for a stroke is basically trying to get rid of a clot that's basically blocking blood supply to the brain.
In a study published in the journal Science Advances, researchers at Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center have developed a technology to introduce genetic material into cells. They say this might make a delay in care less damaging as it allows them to reprogram skin cells.
With our cocktail, we can sort of tell or teach those cells to become blood vessel cells.
Once injected into mice that had suffered a stroke, lead researcher Daniel Gallego Perez says they saw signs of brain tissue repair.
When we looked at the behavior of these mice as well, they regain motor function significantly. I think the implications for humans, treating humans with this are big.
More research will need to be done into how this treatment works in mice before the study is scaled up to include larger animals testing for safety and efficacy. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
An old school toy goes high tech. Transformers, the classic action figure that can be morphed into vehicles, can be tough for some to transform. So Hasbro is announcing that problem by making them more complex and expensive. The new Optimus Prime auto-converting programmable advanced robot can reshape itself thanks to robotic updates. Of course, the 19-inch item, which has around 5,000 components, has a hefty price tag of $700, 27 patented servo motors, and 60 connected microchips in order to pull off the automated transforming feature. Orders are expected to start shipping in August. That's all the time we have for today's show. Remember, there's more campus and community news on our website. Just head over to vallovisionnews.wordpress.com to see stories from mass communication student reporters throughout the week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune into Vallo Vision News again next week.